Sean, you
And
there?
we're back, right? So welcome back, everybody. We've taken a brief hiatus as we were dealing with vacations and tech support issues. And for those of you who are the transformation leaders out there, you know October is budgeting season. So we're back at it, season three of the Transformation Leaders podcast, and I am happy to be joined with my partner in crime, David Soden. Welcome. And today I wanted to talk about the CX AI arms race. And wanted to start there. I know, David, you have some pretty interesting tools that we've been showing around for our exclusive clients out there. You know it. Those people who are watching out there, we love you very much, and thank you for supporting our day jobs as we are trying to bring about the transformation in today's enterprise. So, AI, and it comes down to CX. What are your thoughts, David?
Wow, loaded question. So lots of things in the news. If we look at just even the latest news cycles, the majority of you are out there are frustrated, a little mad, somewhat disappointed, all of the emotions in between. But the thing is that there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of POCs, and a lot of them just kind of got right up to the finish line and then slid right back down. So, in fact, 60 to 80% of you have all of this work stuck, still in a POC, not able to go live. And so everybody seems to be struggling about trying to get this over the line. So the customer experience is twofold. A, you, the client, meaning you're trying to implement AI for your customers, for your business, but at the same time, you're a consumer of all of this is set yourself to bring this to market. So your CX is impacted. The CX that your customers are experiencing may be the same because they're none the wiser whether or not you have any. Hopefully you didn't have a bad experience and you launched it and then you got egg on your face. That would be really, really bad. Like that's the extreme case of CX having a serious issue. But it does happen because there's a lack of governance, a lack of guardrails, a lack of a lot of things that are out there. So the bottom line is opportunities are immense, opportunities are tremendous, but don't let all the negativity and even the hype, don't get sucked up into it. Just find somebody. Sean and I are good places to start, by the way, a selfless, shameless plug. But nonetheless, we've got a really methodical way of dealing with these types of problems. And unfortunately, we see them day in, day out. And so there's a lot of great trouble to be had. The only tidbit I'll give you is stop trying to boil the ocean. Pick one work stream, pick one task, set of tasks to do, and just work on that one task. It's so easy just to solve one problem. Don't try to solve 3 or 5 or 10. Just work on one problem at a time. But if you work on multiple, make sure they're in the same workflow, in the same workflow process. That way you can work your way through. And when you get done with it, you'll have an entire work stream that's optimized and ready for AI. That seems to be some of the best strategy in CX to bring this thing to fruition and into delivery. But everybody has a different use case and story, and we definitely would love to hear about that. Sean, what's some of the recent examples that you have either personally been involved on? I know you're working on a huge project right now, trying to bring a particular managed service to market, and it's had been well received as well as lots of feedback. So talk a little bit maybe about that experience.
Certainly, certainly. So, as you can tell, it is officially November, No Shave November. So, you guys out there, get checked. But what I love to talk about is the stories that I'm telling to people. Um, and the first stories that I want to tell talks about me personally going on vacation back in July, and me receiving, as you may all have when being on vacation, a poor vacation experience. My travel partners, if you will, No names, but they are an airline. They are a car rental company. What they did was they dropped the ball. Honestly, I had a situation where because I was traveling with young children, they would not confirm a booking after they canceled the flight. So trick out there for everybody: if you have young kids, do not book the latest flight of the day, because that's the one that they're most likely to cancel. But anyway, um, I had to go and jump on a competing airline so I could get my family home. And when I was at that holiday, I rented a car and I prepaid uh, for a particular car because of the size of my family. And guess what? They said, we are not going to give you that car because somebody more important than you, we gave that car to.
Wah, wah,
And
wah.
so yeah, again, I am not the only one to experience this. I've experienced these issues in the past, as we all have. But I had a secret weapon this time, beyond my AI curiosity, which every one of you should have. What I did was I decided, okay, I don't want to fight fair. I want to complain using AI and see what I can get. Because in the past, the best I could get was an official email apology. We're sorry. So I had AI tell me how to contact customer service, what to say. I walked through, the AI told me, say exactly what happened. They constructed everything for me. I just copied and pasted the email, and anytime I got a reply via email or via message, web chat, I posted it in. So I was using AI, as we have been recommending our CX customers use AI. And the results that I got as a consumer was amazing. Now, I've heard from several of our customers that they feel like they're in a armed conflict between partners and customers using AI against them. And it was very interesting. The results I got was, not only did I get frequent flyer mileage, not only did I get um, free days and free flight information, I got refunds, partial refunds as well. So again, it really maximized what I could get in this situation from a customer service perspective. And it really opened my eyes up. Now, the second story I say is because, again, I'm a firm believer, if you do something once and something good happens, great. The second time you do it and it works, it should probably be a process.
Yeah.
And I had a situation where I had a utility company cut through my fiber optic cable. This is another reason why we've been on hiatus, is because Sean didn't have reliable internet for 2 weeks. And then I had my local provider really tell me 5, 10 different stories on why they couldn't come fix my service. And I had it tell me to file FCC violation notices. I had the AI told me to file state public safety notices and all this kind of stuff. And then I come to find out, in my neighborhood, this provider was trying to pull back. And there was 6 other people who were down for months. And because I followed AI and posted those FCC violations, it actually instigated them to come fix. So for some people, we're down for 6 weeks. I was down for a total of 10 days. I got 4 months of free service, and then I got 2 months of refunds. But more importantly, my internet's back up, which is the most important thing. So I would, the purpose of this story is something like, I always have a saying that there's a difference. Albert Einstein says the difference between wisdom and genius. Wisdom is learning from your mistakes. Genius is learning from the mistakes of others. And this is a really good example for all of us to understand. When you have a customer service issue, you can just log into a free AI tool, tell it what's going on, and it will guide you. Number two, make sure you read what it's telling you to do and you're comfortable with doing it, right? So your mileage may vary on this, but number three, the most important reason I am telling this story is because we deal with a lot of customers in the CX domain. And when I tell them this story, they immediately go, wow, the more people who start using this against us, the worse things are going to be for us. So it's time to equip your people with AI. I'm a firm believer that CX cannot be replaced by AI. However, I think CX needs to be equipped with AI, because you can't have a situation where you're throwing rocks at people in tanks. And that's the kind of situation that you have when your consumers are using AI and you are not. So that's the big thing that I wanted to share. That I've been talking to a lot of customers of mine, a lot of interested parties, and even friends and family. It was a very eye-opening experience for me professionally and personally, knowing that there is so much available out there on how to take advantage of a CX process to get resolution for a problem. And that here's me telling everybody to use AI for the last 3 years, and I just started using it in simple things like dealing with customer service for the past year. So again, be a genius, learn from Sean, and take a look at this technology for every aspect of your business and personal life, because it could put a smile on your face and give a great story like I just did right now. So what do you think, David? I don't think you've heard me tell that story yet.
No,
You
have
know,
not.
what's your feeling about this? Is this not just the craziest age to be in CX right now?
Yeah, it's every time I think I got something figured out or an angle or a play, it either just gets better or I'm like, hindsight's 2020. So it's not something that you just apply, like you had said one time. It is something that you do apply when you're talking about it, but the room for improvement or the next idea, when you start layering and stacking all of these, it's a never ending learning experience or even user journey on all of that. But, in scope, the CX, like I was saying earlier, and like you had mentioned, there's so many opportunities for companies to, try certain things in controlled ways where human and AI are working together to figure out what works, what doesn't work. Another thing that I see people get tripped up and stuck on is that they're afraid to do it or afraid to use it in production. But, when you're talking about CX, these are things that could be done as an exercise, as a workshop. You simply just take emails or chat logs or anything that has happened or transpired historically in the past. And rather than sitting around having a meeting, hey, what could we have done to do better? Throw it into a chatbot. Throw it into an LLM. Throw it into an LLM that's been trained on your policy, procedures, or rules, and say, what should I have done differently? What should the agent have done differently? How can we as a company proactively get in front of this situation? We have X, Y, and Z facilities. These are our touch points. Anyway, give it as much information as you can, and you'll get some analytical insights from the AI, maybe even some things probably that you haven't thought of before. And then if you specifically ask, say, what else should we or could we have done thinking outside of the box? And the point is guide it and ask it to do what it needs to be. So workshopping internally is super, super powerful for CX level type AI stuff. because it gets not only the humans involved and everybody, like historically, it adds a new dimension. It adds a new way of using AI, because collaboratively as groups, everybody's now trying to solve the same problem, but they're having fun because they're trying to use AI to solve the best of both worlds. And one thing that it will teach you very quickly is that not one turn of question answer from the AI is going to always necessarily work. I wouldn't go more than 5 of these, but the point is back-to-back iterations. And so this is what we do in governance and security. This is what your OpenAIs and the large language models of the world are popular doing. They have their base model behind the scenes. They have their governance layer that tries to make it so that you can't jailbreak it and all this other stuff. But there's layers of prompts, layers of these things happening in lockstep. You only see the outcome, but you don't know what's going on the other side. And so this is what you could do for your company to implement these safety security measures and stuff. So anyway, that's probably an answer to your question plus.
Oh, and again, we are employing this today by bringing offerings to the marketplace that are comprehensive in that we have technology, but more importantly, we have the game changers that make it successful. No matter what technology you have, it's kind of useless without people. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, what about Tesla self-drive? Well, last time I heard, a lot of people keep an eye out where the car's going when it's driving and to be able to take over, right? So, anything of value is going to have a human in the loop, whether a customer needs to be involved or a representative of the company. So I would implore you, if you are looking at how do we take advantage and equip our people with AI, reach out, because this is the time to learn. This is the time to start equipping people, because pretty soon you're going to be forced into, we have to do this. Because right now, yes, it is advantageous for your company to start embracing these concepts, but pretty soon it's going to be table stakes. So now, as I understand it, David, you have some of your hard work to show off in this arena, this hybrid people, process, tools, managed service perspective. And I think yours is around more of inside sales, right? Equipping sales, which is the backbone of every kind of company, on how to make them smarter and more efficient and converting those leads to opportunities and opportunities to sales.
Yeah, so let me give you a quick demo of this, and just want to say at the onset, let me make sure I got the screen showing here, is that I'm going to put a random company URL. I'm going to pick one that I think everybody knows, Walmart. It's a lesser known company, but I think some of you may be familiar. But in any event, the key here is that what we can do is we can show you how this applies to you and walk you through a one-on-one demo. You can come to our website, click on contact us, fill out the form. Sean and I will get it. What we'll do is we'll set up a time to meet with you to go over what this might mean for your company. So just know that this URL or this website, while it's Walmart, it is going to build a custom demo for you. Now, this was something that I put together as a tool to kind of help show customers what is AI, what does it mean, how can we break this down so that it's something meaningful for you. And so we'll customize it with it's got your logo, as long as you got it on your website, and we can pick the color so it applies to you. But more importantly, we've designed this thing to do a couple of things for you to help kind of set your mind at ease and also walk you through some of the most important things. So first thing it's going to do is it's going to figure out a little bit about your company, what your position is, and then more importantly, it's going to try to figure out, depending on the size of your company, this may or may not be as accurate, but something like Walmart's pretty popular, right? So it uses news cycles and anything that it might hear about or see or social media to kind of figure out what your current challenges may be as a company. And it gives a quick overview of some things that may or may not be meaningful, but this is up for you to discuss with us as we go through this to validate or invalidate this. And this will talk a little bit about your industry. Now, this is germane to you because this is all about the industry or the sector that you're in. And so this kind of talks about that as a whole and what's going on. Now, we have 12 capabilities. Now, why did I choose capabilities? Capabilities are Legos that you use to build agentic solutions or AI solutions. And you combine 2 or more usually of these, usually 4 to 6, 4 to 8 even, back to back. This is kind of geeky, but nonetheless, this is breaking this down so that you'll understand what some of this stuff means. And so while we have the 12 capabilities, based on your current challenges, based on the industry trends, it's going to go ahead and prioritize those 12 into which ones it thinks is most popular. Now, if you think about Walmart and what it is that they do, why is it picking predictive analytics? Well, predictive analytics is super important being a publicly held company. It also has to do with sales, finance, revenue, all these things. So this is a machine learning type of tool or capability inside of AI that's super powerful. Now, this is a little bit geeky, so I don't know that maybe I'll get into this one, although some of you may want to see it. I'll show you real quick. I won't spend a tremendous amount of time breaking this down. But one of the things it's doing is right now is the AI is looking at who you are, what industry you're in, what challenges it is that you're in, and it is coming up with a best use case for this particular capability and what it means. Obviously, this is going to be pretty powerful because this was the number 1 item for Walmart. And so what we can do is tell you how Walmart can use this, right? And so this is the information about why this is important for Walmart. And then more importantly, again, going specifically to predictive analytics, what does it mean to your industry? And then more importantly, and this is the crux, you really, really need to understand this. What are your competitors doing with this capability? How are they using it? Because this is going to let you know how far behind you're falling or where you might fit within to the sector or within your area. So lots of great important information here to be had in discussions. 12 capabilities to go over in a demo, either live with a human or even just here on this podcast, is we're never going to get through all of this. So I'm just going to highlight a few of these. So let's look at the sales forecast regression. Now we have this sample data set, 36 rows of data over 7 columns. And what I'm going to do is predict a target column of what I want to do a prediction on. Now we could predict on any of these, but sales is probably the most applicable to be used here. And so then what we're seeing is now the trend analysis with regards to the model's performance based on the data that it has available to it. And so this is pretty quick because it only has a little bit of data, but this might take a couple of seconds to minutes, maybe even an hour if you're going over a treasure trove of maybe year over year for the last 5 to 10 years. But nonetheless, some of the key contributors within the data set talked about economic indicators, the previous sales, and kind of breaks this all down for you and shows you kind of what this means. Now, this is just one of many capabilities. If we go back out to the overview for Walmart, and then we go look at the second item on the list, this is about optimization. And so this is about making sure that you do keep cost reductions and a bunch of other stuff. Conversational AI is cool. Everybody's seen a ChatGPT chatbot, so I'm sure you guys are all new to that one. But this is something that's really powerful that people don't necessarily think of as being AI, but when you add AI behind it to run the power, search and retrieval is a way of taking separated information scattered all over your organization and bringing it into one cohesive search so that you can have referenceable information, knowing where did this information come from. And so this is, while it sounds great to tame the chaos, there is a lot of preparatory work that needs to be done by us as engineers, by companies that are going to help you. There's usually 4 to 5 steps backwards before we can go 1 step forward. And the reason for that is because people have been kicking this can down the road for years. They don't want to clean their data. They don't have time to clean their data. Data is all over the place and everywhere. Now you can use AI in this use case to your advantage. It will be better with organized data, but just know that, garbage in, garbage out. But AI is really good at kind of looking through the fuzziness to try to find out where those gems are. So that doesn't mean that you can't use it. It just means it's not going to be as good as it could be. So it's up to you. Everybody has budgets, time constraints. All these things need to get factored into solutioning whatever it is that we'll be doing for you. But nonetheless, if we come down here to look at some of the search, this demo searches 30 pre-indexed documents using OpenAI's embedding model. And so we did some cosine similarity search. This is all geek talk. But let's just go ahead and hit this for AI automation. We click this. This is a one-click button search across your entire enterprise looking for just categorically this one thing. It is going to provide an indexed match across the treasure trove of data that you may have everywhere. And so from here, this is going to tag the data. It's going to give you a summary of it. Now, envision that you could click on this, drill in, get a little bit further, or maybe it's a categorical search result, and this brings off a category, which then has everything that you need at your disposal underneath. Think about this in context, maybe not such a larger picture, but if you have customers, and Sean and I were talking about CX earlier, envision that you have information about, I don't know, you're in BFSI, you're in insurance, or you're doing something like that, and you need to find out every single document as it pertains to claims that they may have made, or maybe claims in the zip code, or claims that match a demographic that has gone into the actuary assessment for that particular customer and their rate. There's all kinds of really interesting use cases to use this capability, but nonetheless, there is a treasure trove of capabilities that are all AI driven and all AI based, where they are prioritized, and we can walk you through step by step. So this has been a really helpful tool, taking people along a breadcrumb trail, trying to break down not only what is AI, what does it mean, but what does it mean for me as XYZ company? And how can I apply this to get the most out of all this hype that everybody's talking about? A lot of the competitors, a lot of our cohorts are out there yelling and screaming, hey, I can do this for you, that for you, but they don't really break it down. They don't really kind of lift the curtain up, or you can't really see the wizard behind the guy who's running Oz behind the curtain there. And so what we try to do with this, by breaking it down this way, is to take it down to its first principle. And then from here, with that understanding together, we can then decide what the future state's going to be for you and assemble a use case to get you to the outcome, or the desired outcome that you really want to get to. And so this is really kind of the secret to the sauce of what both Sean and I do, and how we talk with our customers every day about breaking these tools and utilities down into easy, bite-sized, digestible solutions. Sean, you want to add anything else to this? Or you have any capability you want me to drill into and demo?
One of the biggest challenges we see in AI is trying to connect the technology to the business and the business problem. And me and David are typically brought in to do this, but we're just two people. We're not that special, actually. This technology allows to lower the bar, right? Sean can't be on every sales call. David can't be on all sales calls. So what this tool is all about is connecting up and creating into bite-sized, digestible pieces for people who focus in on sales. Here's what your customer's experiencing. Here's what we do. Here's how the two things connect. And here's interesting talking points that you can talk. Now, back in the day, some of you out there, you know what battle cards are, right? This is the AI answer to battle cards. Because the problem with battle cards is, are you going to create one for every vertical? Are you going to create one for every large customer? Being able to have that intelligence on your customer and what you can do and what your company provides and the value proposition, and having that at your fingertips, so that, for example, if somebody replies in from Walmart on your LinkedIn, you can immediately go in there and say, you know what? I know that they're doing this. I know this is the best entry point. So I'm gonna throw this out there, this kind of statement, and I can see if I can get a call. And then I can, as a salesperson, I can become fearless, fearless, because when I talk to this person, I can say, hey, you know, what are you doing as far as for predictive analytics for your inventory forecasting? I can have that conversation. And again, if there's no bites, I can go through and do quick hit 10 different bites of the apple to see if there's any interest there. I can have a coffee with somebody and know what their job title is and what's on LinkedIn. And I can say, here's 10 different things that I should bring up and see if there's any interest. And if there's interest, I could just say, you know what? I've got a really smart person called David Soden who can talk to you about predictive analytics with inventory. You know, can I set up a follow-on? Right? And so this is how you connect up a business problem to a professional solution. And we're not the only ones who do this. In fact, we build these tools because part of the managed services our company provides is doing this kind of inside sales. So, you know, these are the tricks of the trade, and it really does shine the example on how human beings and AI are going to be layered on top of each other to get a better CX experience, not only for the brand, but also for the consumer. And that's what's going to change things. Not a chatbot that is just going to regurgitate the same tired knowledge-based articles over and over and over again. It's not going to excite them. If it's not personalized, there's no value to it. That's what we're hearing in the marketplace today.
This is pretty good stuff and interesting from the standpoint that where if people are really stuck and they're not really quite sure where they need to be or where they need to go, I think this is a great first step. It doesn't have to be any more than just having a conversation around any one of these items. But more importantly, it may just be that you're curious, or you might even be curious how we put the tool together. Sean and I, if you haven't already gone through, you know, from the onset, Sean said season 3. So I think it was about season 2-ish or 2.1. Sean went ahead. I think I even did a flavor of it. Everything's starting to feel like a blur at this point, but we showed some AI assisted coding and how to do a lot of this stuff. Now, this entire tool, I'm not much of a developer from the standpoint of remembering the syntax of how to write all of the nuances. Can I do it? Yes. It's painful for me. I have to live out of a reference manual. I'm constantly having to look up stuff because I don't code as a developer day in and day out. So I do it, but mostly from a hobby or a learning standpoint, and or simply just leading others or teaching them or mentoring them on stuff. So if you have even the modicum of understanding about anything writing code, AI assisted coding or vibe coding or whatever you want to call it is definitely going to be up your wheelhouse. Now, if you are somebody who knows how to do project management, knows how to direct a team, and simply tells team members, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, and you know how to create the job description to hire that individual, you also can use vibe coding. By the way, if you're interested in that type of rabbit holes type of content, Sean and I are more than happy to go back down and revisit this as a phase 2 or a part 2 to that, because I use Claude Code every day now. And one of the things that I found most interesting with the latest release of 4.5 is that I now have the ability to create a virtual staff. I write the job description. Magically, it just appears, right? Because I'm not actually hiring somebody. So the Aon takes on that persona that I say I want it to have. And then I just assemble the team. And then I have a project manager or project manager that orchestrates all of the work for me. So now I'm just a product owner. I say I want X, Y, and Z. Now, you do have to be explicit in what you want, and there's a little bit of a nuance to it and a science. But once you find a groove and once you understand how this thing works, oh, man, you can create some really crazy synergistic stuff. Demos like this. There's 2 or 3 other examples I can give, and we could even walk you through a webinar and a workshop. So anyway, just let us know. You got the link in the podcast right here now. You should have a QR code. By the way, we couldn't figure out how to get rid of the little duck icon. That's not our icon, but nonetheless, if you scan that, it'll take you up to our website, and you can just click on contact us. So go to the bottom. Otherwise, at the bottom, below Sean and I's picture right now, there is a long URL called the transformationleaderspodcast.com. Blech. Mouthful. Wish we could have just registered TLP. Would have been so much easier. But nonetheless, if you go to that website, you can click on contact us, and you can get down there to the contact form. And we're more than happy to take your suggestions for future shows, set up a demo, show you what we've talked about, just about anything and everything that you have an interest in how to transform your business. You can find us there. There's also 2 links on the webpage that'll take you right to Sean and I's profile. And from there, you can just connect with us even one-on-one through LinkedIn if that's your preference there. But that's pretty much, I think, it for summarizing today's viewpoint. And it's good to be back, and we'll be back every Wednesday again. We are going to release a recording that we kind of had a little experiment with to try to work through the issue. So if the quality that comes out isn't as great as it can be, just know it was a one-time shot, but we didn't want to lose the recording because we had a lot of great content in that. But in any event, we'll see you here every Wednesday, 12 o'clock noon. And before I sign off, just want to pass it back to Sean, see if he's got anything else to say, but he looks like he's waving on. So we'll end it here, and that's it. And we'll see you in the next show. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.